A short history of the Arab-Israel conflict. How have Israel's borders changed over time, and why did Palestinian autonomous territories end up scattered in two separated regions? The shifting lines on the map help to explain more than a century of conflict between Arabs and Jews in the Holy Land. Our explanation begins in 1916. During the First World War, Sir Mark Sykes, a British diplomat, and Francois Georges Picot, a French one, were appointed by the governments to secretly divvy up the lands of the Ottoman Empire. The Arab provinces were to be split up among European powers. Palestine was envisioned as international territory given its significance in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, stating its support for the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. By then, Jewish agricultural settlement in Palestine had already begun, and the Zionist movement, founded by Theodor Herzl, had declared its aim to create a Jewish homeland at its first Congress in Basel in 1897. The San Remo Conference of 1920 finalized the partition of the Ottoman Empire. Britain was given a mandate to rule parts of the international territory envisioned under Sykes-Picot. They were split again in the following year into Palestine and Transjordan, an Arab kingdom under Hashemite rule. The mandate was approved by the League of Nations, a forerunner to the United Nations, in 1922. Importantly, it included support for the Balfour Declaration. Arabs living there turned increasingly to violence against the occupiers, and growing numbers of Jewish migrants, including German Jews, fleeing Nazi persecution. In 1936, the Arabs revolted. The British crushed the uprising but tried to win over the Arabs by restricting Jewish ambitions in the region. Jewish militant groups began launching their own revolt, which spread after the Second World War. Eventually, the British gave up and handed the problem over to the UN. After the Holocaust, pressure grew for the international recognition of a Jewish state. In 1947, the UN proposed the partition of Palestine into three parts: an Arab state, a Jewish state, and Jerusalem, which was intended to be a corpus separatum, or a separate, internationally run entity. Violence only worsened. As Britain completed its withdrawal in 1948, Jewish leaders declared the establishment of the State of Israel. Neighboring Arab countries promptly invaded. Israel survived the Arab invasion. In the Armistice of 1949, a demarcation line known as the Green Line served as a de facto borders between Israel and Arab states. Though the Arab governments refused to recognize Israel, more than 700,000 Palestinians, Arabs, fled or were pushed out of their home. They called this the Nakba, the catastrophe. The Gaza Strip and the West Bank became under the control of Egypt and Transjordan, later Jordan, respectively. Jerusalem was divided.